the mic. Whatever kind of battle you're in the mood for tonight. They'll take you any place you can pay for. Here at Sunday Papers. Scream and shout and read all about it.
Phones in. What?
Yeah,
I have an idea.
you just froze.
New ideas. Always welcome. I froze? I think it's
froze.
you. No?
Well, it's the first time it's happened, so hopefully it won't happen again.
All right, am I unfrozen?
You're unfrozen.
I have a new idea. Before I put in my headphones, why don't you scream so I don't hear it as loudly?
Read all about it!
Oh, thank God. I didn't
Read
do that
all
one.
about it! Live from the Pacific Northwest and Santa Monica, it's the Sunday Papers.
How's Portland, my man?
Portland, baby, what a city. What
I'll
a city
tell
of bridges and fuck, it's just, the weather is just shit. You know, it is just like, it's just cold and it's dank and it's like this all the time.
Did you go out for breakfast?
I did. I went out to, there's a kind of a soul food place right up the street, and I got grits with shrimp in it for breakfast.
Jesus.
Threw an
what
egg
a
on top of it. Yeah.
Shrimp. You had shrimp for breakfast.
Yep.
That's not a. That would have been very far down my guesses of what you had for breakfast.
Yeah.
Especially in a town that has a pancake restaurant.
Oh,
Do you know,
I've
do you
heard
know
about
about that one?
Yeah, I think I've heard about that one.
Okay, why don't you and I steal that idea? Do you know the cost of pancake batter?
So little.
So apparent from what I hear, and I might have this wrong, you go to a place and it's a grill, kind of like the Korean restaurants where you cook yourself, right? And then they have the big, like, it's almost like, you know, the big ketchup bottles, you know, in restaurants that you can squirt. You turn it upside down, squeeze it, squirt it.
The squeeze bottle.
The squeeze bottle, thank you very much, with different pancake batters in it.
Nice.
You make your own pancake. So not only do we sit back and basically put flour with water or milk and then just retire, but we make these fuckers cook it themselves.
And we make America fat. Let's plump up America a little bit.
And
I swear
you're
to
right.
God, I
It
am.
might not be the best business model for Los Angeles.
I am not a great cook, but the one thing I do really well, and you know this, is I make pancakes. It used to be waffles. I used to make waffles
I
at my
do
house.
know that. Yeah.
When we first moved to LA, we had friends all over the city, and I was told if you don't make an effort, you won't see your friends. So as soon as we moved out, we had gotten 2 waffle makers for our wedding. And so we started having waffle Sundays, and every Sunday, and you were a part of it, we'd have a whole gang of people would come over, and it was like Lisa Line Gang and Matt and Cass, Zach Galifianakis and Nick Swartzen would come over.
Oh, total nobodies, Galifianakis and Swartzen. I mean, the Sklars would be there.
Yep.
All new. You know what was cool about it was I would run into people, comedians from your world who just moved to LA.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're like, "Oh, you got to do the Sunday thing at Fitzsimmons."
And then I started making pancakes, and I just have done a lot of research on how to make protein pancakes so that you don't crash. The worst thing about pancakes is the massive crash afterwards. So I stick in
it's cake.
I stick in cottage cheese, a lot of walnuts,
shrimp,
a little bit of yogurt, lots of fruit, little lemon rinds, and it makes a huge difference.
Still sounds like a nap.
Yeah, it's still a nap. It's still a nap.
It is, and you know you're also peaking with your coffee and other sugar,
right?
As you said,
and it's
fruit
syrup,
and all that.
The syrup.
There's no coming. You need a nap after that.
Yeah, but Portland's good. It's a lot of like, you know, I've been walking on stage and saying, "Thanks for dressing up, Portland," and they immediately break out laughing. They get it. They're all wearing like 4 layers. There's like the layer they got at the thrift store. There's the layer they got at the Army and Navy. There's the sweatshirt that was left at the vape shop they work at. And everyone's got a backpack. I said, it looks like a city of 8th graders waiting for the school bus.
Well, the bottom layer is their layer for the week because they shower on Sundays, I think. Then they change it up on the layers closer to the outside shell.
Yeah. And we had my friend Brian Van Horn, who was like my best friend when I was a kid. He came out last night, and that was fun.
Wow, how did he wind up out there?
I texted him. We're in touch. We're still good friends.
No, how did he wind up from Tarrytown to Portland?
He's I don't know. He was a kid who he's a good argument for what they call the BOCES program in high school.
Oh boy.
Which is it's a program, I forget what it stands for, occupational something, but it's an alternative for kids that don't feel like they're going to go on to college to teach them a skill, and it's motor repair, so they can become mechanics or carpentry, or in his case, culinary arts. And he studied culinary arts at BOCES, and then he went on to have a fucking great career as a chef all these years. So he cooks out here at a good restaurant.
Is he a good fighter?
He and I had a fight in high school. We had a knockdown, drag-out fist fight at the Tarrytown Lakes.
I'm betting he won.
He did win.
Not because of who you are. So, for those of you who don't know, so when you say BOCES, I even had a visceral reaction. I even audibly went like, "Ooh!" It is such, and this is all on me, but a lot of people are like me. It's such a negative connotation.
Right. It's been used as a slander, calling someone a BOCE. Yeah.
Because of the comedic use of the word, so here, I'm speaking very respectfully, okay? So no one fucking cancel me. Because of the comedic use and the casual use of the word retarded, truly, which now gives me, even as I just said it, a little shudder when that word. BOCES is I have a way stronger reaction. So there was a BOCES program in our school, and if you wanted to come up with the meanest insult, like, what are you, a BOCE? Like, that's what you would say in Eastchester, New York, to your friends, like, this fucking idiot's in BOCES or whatever. You would never say that to the kids in BOCES,
right?
But those kids, first of all, of course, would be like, you don't pick a, because they have retard strength. So now I'm just digging myself a hole. But they were so picked on, and they had such a a self-image issue, which we all caused, that they were really fucking tough.
Right, you sound like you were kind of a dick, Mike.
Well, I told you that's why I didn't like Rushmore, man. I was a bully. I was always popular, man. Fucking Rushmore is just this nerd fest. What am I going to celebrate that? No. Of course. Well, yeah. Well, at recess we play, Smear the Queer. It was just the most politically incorrect. Meanwhile, I was picked on in first grade a while because I wasn't Italian. It's called Greasechester. It was like all I wanted to be when I would pray at night. I've told you this. I would pray at night in grammar school to be shorter and to be Italian and tanner.
Yeah.
Like and then Rocky came out while I was in grammar school. Forget about it.
Yeah. No, Italians were.
And the Fonz. And Happy Days, the Chachi, the whole fucking thing was Italian.
Yeah, I know, and I had such pale skin, and we grew up in similar towns. There was a lot of Italians, a lot of Irish, but a lot of Latinos also in my town. So like a lot of people had olive skin, and I was the shiniest, whitest fucking kid, and I hated it. And I was skinny. All I wanted was to be fat and dark skinned like my friends.
Yep. No, I'd be like on bedside praying at night, like, why doesn't my mom have a mustache?
Yeah.
Why doesn't she backhand me when I don't eat all my pasta?
Why isn't my dad in a union?
So wait, how did this get started? Oh yeah, him. That's the most amazing Bosey story. Now using it, I can't even say it. It trips me up. I have such a reaction to that word.
Yeah.
I feel so ashamed of that also. It's terrible. Like, look at that success story. That's amazing story.
I know, it's
this
amazing.
kid.
And another kid who did it ended up, he did engine repair, and he ended up working for a tow company, and then he bought a tow truck. He now has a fleet of tow trucks and pretty much commands most of Westchester with his trucks. He has trucks that tow other trucks. He's the guy who was just a fucking motorhead. He used to fix my car for me when I was a teenager, and he was in
Wow.
Bosey's. Yeah.
That's incredible, especially the culinary thing. That's amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll see him. I'm going to see him today after the podcast. We're going to hang out some more. And what else? What's going on with you? What have I been missing?
Well, Gibbons invited me today in Gibbons news. He invited me today. So last week I watched his beloved San Francisco 49ers. So they played Dallas in a crazy game that came down to the last second. So
Yeah.
I was full disclosure. I go, listen, just so you know, I don't really care about either of these teams. So I'm going to be rooting like for a close game. He seemed to understand that, like, conceptually. But when it came time, like, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, like when Dallas did, like, you know, in the third quarter, he'd be like, what the fuck? And he gets so angry at the refs.
Yeah.
He apparently can call everything correctly. The refs get almost everything wrong when it's against his side. And so anyway, he invited me back. Oh, he got really, really angry in the last 3 minutes of the game. And Mikey and I are there, right? Fitzsimmons. And we're like, kind of, it's like what you grew up with like, oh, here's the raging dad. Like, I'm afraid, you know, like all of a sudden. And so today he's like, he's like, Niners, should we do it again or whatever? I'm like, oh, no fucking way. I can't handle I go, oh, because I didn't know what he was talking about. No fucking way. I can't handle the rages against the poor refs. And then he goes, I guess it's clear you all want Aaron fucking Rodgers to win since you're not going to keep the good juju for your bro alive by repeating last week. Good juju. It was the worst juju ever in that apartment. His dog was afraid. It was terrible.
Yeah. He is. He's like a different person when it comes to sport. There's Dennis Gibbons, who's like mayor of Venice, loving guy, friendly to everybody, sweet, high, and then you add sports, and he becomes a fucking maniac.
Yeah. And he really competition.
Whether it's golf or beach volleyball or watching sports.
Yeah, but his 49ers. And then literally when the game ended, and it came down to the last play, when the game ended, he was like, that was close. You got, and then he literally goes, that was close. And he's like, he has his head in his hands, and he's like, and he was standing for the last like 5 minutes of the game. That was close. He's like, you guys can stay. Because there was a game right after it. And our total assumption was we were staying for that, and that was not the case. If the last play had gone a different way, we were out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, the Rams playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is fucking huge tomorrow. I think the Rams are giving 3 points. Is that the spread right now?
We'll check it at game time. But the only good news last week, goddamn Brady, is I hate Philadelphia, so they trounced them. But oh my, it was never even close. It was such a.
I got a bad feeling about this. The Rams looked so fucking good last week, but at the same time, Brady in the playoffs is formidable. He is a tough guy to play in the playoffs.
And it's in Tampa, right?
It's in Tampa.
Right. All right. So last week's podcast, here's the thing. I admitted to you right before we started. I can't believe I haven't gone back and listened to. I had to leave early last week, and you finished the podcast solo.
Yeah, solo. There's a lot of pressure.
And I haven't even tuned in. I got to hear it.
Yeah.
I heard it went well.
You don't have to listen to it. I didn't say anything about you.
That's not why I listen.
I handled Family Circus, and I got to tell you, being in your shoes for Family Circus, it really is hard. You get stultified. You get stumped. You don't know what to do with it.
Let's switch it this week. You want me to do Blondie?
All right, you do Blondie, and I'll do Family Circus.
All right, sounds good.
Little tease.
All right.
Our song this week comes from Jamie Sly. It was,
Nice.
and I should say we can't allow song parodies because they get flagged by YouTube, and then they take whatever revenue we made on the show, they take it away. And so, but this one is so loosely a Billy Joel song that I don't think that I just mean his interpretation wasn't like literal. And
I got
so
it.
we kind of let it slide,
Okay.
and because we liked it. Lawrence Tarpey did this week's graphic. Very cool. Us as muscleheads.
I like it a lot. Look at me. Look at those shoulders.
If you could change your body with that guy, would you do it?
No.
No.
That guy?
Yeah.
That's grotesque. That looks like I wouldn't even want my arm to look like that guy's. I wouldn't even want my leg to look like that guy's arm.
Yeah.
Yours is a little better.
Yeah. I would take that guy. Especially when I go back and fight Brian Van Horn again in 10th grade.
Good luck fighting a Bosie. So, death is everywhere, no? And I'm not talking about the pandemic.
Yeah. People are
Celebrities.
dying left and right.
We're doing 2 obituaries later. Sadly, we have 2 to do because they're close to home. And, man, it's just, I kind of always said this, but I didn't really wrap my mind around it. I've said, everyone's like, oh, it comes in threes, whatever it is, like, Michael Jackson, Farrah Fawcett, whatever it comes, the deaths come in threes, but it's going to be coming in 13s and then 30s because fame didn't really happen till like the 50s and 60s.
Right.
Like pop culture fame.
Oh, you mean there's just so many more celebrities now?
So I looked it up. All right, if you're born in 1945, the life expectancy was 72 years old. Now, I know we'll probably get letters from people who know more about this than I do, but there's also like once you live to 5 years old, already it's past, the life expectancy has increased past 72. And if you live to 20, then it's really blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't take into consideration if you do drugs and you drink.
Like most celebrities.
And people who are in the entertainment world, it's a very, yes, of course it's not digging ditches, but it's a mentally stressful time, and creatives tend to not handle stress as well as other people. And it's far from a consistent, reliable life that one leads when they're in front of the camera or the microphone or something. So anyway, Paul McCartney turns 80 in June. So this generation, like anyone we like, that whole British invasion and all of their peers are, north of 75 now. And
yeah.
I just think every week, beginning about now, it's going to be really, I don't know, there's going to be a nostalgic element to it, but it's going to be rough, man.
And I think you have to avoid getting into death fetish, where like I always feel mixed about like when somebody dies, like for instance, Saget died, and then you post a selfie as a way of, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I wonder, why is everybody posting a selfie? Is to say, oh, I knew this guy, or is it to generally say, I miss this guy and here's a nice moment I want to share? And some people give you shit about it. I always re-release, like I have probably 8 or 9 podcasts of Bob Saget. I posted one, and then I also posted one of Louis Anderson, a podcast I did with him. And I feel like people enjoy that because it's like hanging out with that person one more time. And I listen to them and I enjoy that. Oh, yeah, I forgot we had these really nice moments together. And that really warms my heart to hear it again.
Totally.
But I don't know. I mean, it's almost like I talked to my mom and like she's like, all my friends are dead. Like so many of her friends have died.
Yeah.
And, you get to that age and you realize like, we're going to deal with hundreds of significant deaths in our life. How do you want to psychologically process it? It's up to you. You can have your own mode of doing it. Mm-hmm. And it can be conscious. You can do conscious uncoupling, as Gwyneth Paltrow would say. Like there's a way to do it that it doesn't send you into a funk every time.
I don't know. She has a candle that smells like her vagina. Is that a funk? It smells a little funky.
That's the definition of funk.
It smells a little funky in that house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one way you can deal with it, and this will sound like I'm completely insane, but you could think it's all part of a big plan and that we're going to go to heaven or something like that. You fucking morons. So anyway, talk about a disconnect. No, it's crazy. It's I don't know. It's going to start. And I think we should ask the listeners again, because I don't think we ever got traction on this. The deaths that will have the biggest impact on the world. I think the Queen, and by the way, I am not talking about even a positive reaction. I'm talking about the biggest impact. I think the Queen, and of course, listen, I'm an American, so it's totally skewed. I have no idea if Brazil gives a shit about the Queen, but the Queen, I think, is a big one. And
who's the biggest actor? What actor will make the biggest impact when he or she dies?
The thing. Early deaths or premature deaths, meaning like if Tom Hanks died, I think that's a little early. And I think that would be, it's kind of like Prince dying, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's not the same as Little Richard dying, like in terms of that age thing. Like Bob Dylan has outlived most of his fans, quite honestly. And so Bob Dylan's death will of course be huge, but man, if he had died even 20 years ago, it would have been way, 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 way bigger. Same with Muhammad Ali.
I think Mick Jagger's going to be huge.
McCartney's number 2 in my book, behind the Queen.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe even above the Queen.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said this before. Like, Russia will be so fucking bummed when Paul McCartney dies. Like, he just was in almost every culture.
Right. Back in the USSR.
Well, I mean, that's very literal, but I'm talking about the Philippines. Everywhere is going to be so bummed when McCartney dies.
Right.
So anyway, I wonder who else, though. Like, I remember they used to have that gauge of the most, and, way before the internet, of like I remember Muhammad Ali passed, I don't know if it was JFK or I don't know who it was, but as the most recognized face on the planet.
Did he die?
Might have even been Gandhi.
Is Muhammad Ali alive?
No, he died.
Oh.
Yeah. I love that guy. But like, he was the most popular face on the planet.
Right. Then you get weird ones like then you get like an Alex Trebek death, and it's like, wow, where the fuck did that come from? People lost their shit. It was like such a big deal. He was a game show host,
I was the doorman at the Bull and Finch Tavern, which is commonly known as Cheers in Boston, and I think it's not too soon now to say this. We had to throw him out.
No.
He, at one point in his life, I don't know if he was still drinking at the end of his life, he was kind of he liked to drink. How about this? All of this is under the umbrella of allegedly. He allegedly liked to drink. He allegedly got a little, nasty when he drank.
Was he racist when he drank?
I guess if allegedly we could say anything. No, I do not know anything about being racist.
All right.
But his pronunciation, boy, really nailed it every time.
Yeah. Even when he was drunk.
Yeah. Adios, fuck faces.
I've been thrown out of better places than this.
Dude, French. How would you say, like, good night, goodbye, or good...
Bonsoir, mes amis.
I want to scream in French, get your fucking hands off of me, but I don't know how to do that.
Corrections, Alex Edmonds says Shallow Hal is the movie you were thinking of that came out at the same time as Stuck on You. Jack Black gets hypnotized by Tony Robbins into only seeing a person's inner beauty. Do you remember how much shit that movie got because it was making a big deal out of the fact that this fat girl could actually be cared about by somebody?
Yeah, why wasn't her inner beauty obese also?
Right.
Is that your point?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess they defended it. That was his idealized thing, and that he was a faulted character. But yeah, I don't think large people enjoy that movie.
Although they enjoyed the popcorn while they were eating it. JJ says,
I did not say that.
Are you looking for the Shaggy song Boombastic? The spelling is off with the wordplay, but it sounds like he's saying bombastic. Yes, that's what I was looking for.
Oh, really? You knew you were trying to reference that song?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Shaggy. All right.
And then Chris Denman is now writing, I typed that 57 times. Oh, sorry, Chris. You probably typed it 57 times about 9 minutes later. That's why.
Oh, boy.
He's got all the speed of a fucking cripple.
Bosies.
You have a Bosie.
I wish they had taught him typing in Bosies.
He's still typing it. He's literally still typing this message.
It's almost like he has a stammer with typing. I said that.
He types with 2 fingers, and they're not his. Gary Van Essen said, in today's episode, Greg shows that watching Schoolhouse Rock paid off by understanding how a bill becomes a law if vetoed, but confuses Australia's prime minister with New Zealand's. I guess I said the wrong prime minister. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
New
dates
Zealand's
coming
a
up.
country?
I got a few more dates coming up. I'd love for you guys to come out. The Portland shows, it's crazy. I didn't think anyone would come out because we are literally at the height of Omicron, but packed shows in Portland. Got shows coming up in Syracuse at the Funny Bone, January 28th and 29th. Lexington, Kentucky on January 24th through the 26th. In Omaha at the Waiting Room, one show. It's a very cool rock club. February 27th, Ross Broccoli. Ross Broccoli will be opening for me.
On.
Yep.
When was the last time he performed?
It's been a little while because apparently he got in a rift. He lives in Lincoln, Nebraska, and he got in a rift with the guy who runs the only room in Lincoln. Because he doesn't like rock.
In 1998? When?
No, he goes up. He goes up. The problem is his politics.
That.
His politics are crazy. He's a full-blown conspiracy theorist, and so I think he rubs some people in. Lincoln's a very liberal town. I think he runs them the wrong way. He's also one of the funniest comedians I've ever seen. He's like he's an ingenue.
Is there any way to see his? If he's still, I had no idea he was still even in entertainment.
I know you can search Ross Broccoli, Broccley, online, and you can find him.
Some of our listeners will know him from years ago, like 15. There was a very funny. Was it Holiday Inn?
Holiday Inn.
Very funny ad campaign by Holiday Inn with a son who has moved back home with his parents, and he has messed up hair, and he'd be like, where's the free breakfast? Like he would expect, basically it was a Holiday Inn was better than moving back in with your parents. Was that the conceit?
Yeah, and he'd be like, where's the free fax machine? And then they'd say, what do you think this is, a Holiday Inn?
Right.
Yeah, and so he did the commercials. And he was doing a lot of drugs at the time. And he used to wash his hair. He used to jerk off and then rub it in his hair because he thought it made it look good.
That's not true, is it?
Yeah. And
wow.
And he was a lunatic. And he was an artist also. Great artist.
I don't think Holiday Inn would want that to get out. All right, go ahead.
And he would show up on set and they'd have a wardrobe for him. And he'd be wearing like some torn up Dickies and like a thrift store flannel shirt. And he'd be like, Now I'm wearing this.
Right.
And
also, what was there? Was there some controversy with the word skillet?
He wouldn't say skillet. He was supposed to promote Holiday Inn's new breakfast skillet, and he's like, nah, I'm not saying skillet.
It's not.
He would change all the words, but
Yeah.
the campaign was like winning awards because it was so good, because he was so fucking funny, and so there's nothing they could do about it. It was hilarious.
He is. He's just so. It's a slow delivery that's so funny, and yeah, he's just a character.
I think the mugs are sold out. They must be sold out by now, but you can check. You can go to the website, sundaypapers.net, and see if there's a mug there for you. And now let's talk about your internet safety. And I have been using ExpressVPN on my computer for years, and it gives me a sense of peace of mind. I know that all my stuff is encrypted. I know that it's going to be way more difficult for somebody to hack into me.
Yep.
So you think you can go into incognito mode. Incognito mode doesn't do anything. They can still see
really
every
doesn't do
website
anything.
that you visited. No. So whoever your internet service provider is, ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites you visit. It keeps your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data. Most of the time, I don't even realize I have it on. It just comes on. You tap one button and it's on. And you can use it on your phone. You can use it on your smart TV. Protect your online activity today. Oh, here's the other great thing you could do with it is when you search for flights. Do you know this?
Let me. I don't even know what you're going to say. I think I know what you're going to say. Last night, my sister and I, looking at flights to go visit my dad in Florida. Long conversation because we got sidetracked and all this. We returned to the topic that started the conversation 45 minutes earlier. Looked at flights again because we're like, all right, let's settle this. Which flights are we getting? And Laura goes, okay, the prices have gone up.
Yes. When they have activity on those flights, they jack them up to you specifically. Now, if you're using ExpressVPN, they don't know that you visited the site, and you get and the flights do not go up in value. That is one of the biggest assets. The other one is you can watch Netflix from different countries and see their libraries, because you can set your setting that you're in England or you're in Denmark or whatever.
Right.
So anyway, protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by Business Insider. Visit my exclusive link, expressvpn.com/papers, and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/papers, expressvpn.com/papers to learn more. Yep.
Also, they know what zip code you search things in.
Oh, yeah.
And I've heard they adjust prices for that.
I have been taking the most lovely bowel movements lately and cleaning up with something that makes my conscience feel good. Every day, tens of thousands of trees are cut down to make single-use paper products that are flushed or thrown away and go into landfills. Our forests currently remove around 1/4 of the carbon humans put into the atmosphere, making them a crucial part of the fight against climate change. And yes, it's real. Real Paper is here to help that fight. Real Paper is a sustainable made product that helps reduce deforestation and single-use plastic use. Have you used it, Mike? Have you used Real Paper?
And while I'm using it, I imagine and I refer to it even out loud, like, here, I'm going to use the Sunday Papers. That's what I call the toilet paper. Because that's how I was introduced to it.
Here's the beauty of it. It has the firmness and the absorption of the best paper ever, and but it's soft and it's not what you think. It's real. At Real Paper, all their products are 100% plastic free and made without virgin tree fibers, so no new trees are cut down to make their toilet paper or paper towels. So
and it's textured. That's the key for me. I like that it's textured.
Yes.
What I like to say is it's ribbed for my pleasure.
Real paper is available in
I doubt that's an approved slogan.
Real paper is available in easy, hassle-free subscriptions or for one-time purchases on their website. All orders are conveniently delivered to your door in 100% recyclable plastic-free packaging. If you head to realpapers.com/papers and sign up for a subscription using the code PAPERS at checkout, you'll automatically get 30% off your first order. That's REEL, not REAL, REEL, paper.com/papers, or enter promo code PAPERS to get 30% off your first order. Real paper is toilet paper and paper towels that change lives. Speaking of paper, Mike, you want to crinkle one right now?
It changes the planet. It's more than lives. I think the scope is. I have a legal pad. Is that going to work?
Oh, yeah, that sounds great.
It's not legal. It's actually just yellow. Do you know why legal pads are yellow?
Why?
Because lawyers work so goddamn much, and the white paper was very fatiguing on the eyes.
Really?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Here we go. But your toilet paper is white because you like when your asshole's fatigued. Here we go. There it is.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
Okay. A new investigation has identified a suspect, let's call him asshole number 1, who may have betrayed Anne Frank and her family to the Nazis. The Jewish diarist, she had diarrhea. Oh, that must have been tough in an attic.
She didn't have bamboo toilet paper.
She died in a Nazi concentration camp in 1945 at age 15 after 2 years in hiding. A team, including an ex-FBI agent, said Arnold Vanderberg, a Jewish figure in... Wait, something... We have... Somehow you're...
Me?
One of us...
My Google Doc has been jumping to the bottom of the page... All right.
My Google Doc is now taking whatever we say and writing it into the document.
Oh, shit. Wait. Okay.
What's that all about?
I know what happened.
What?
I put this dictation, your voice to text is on, Chris just wrote.
Now, how do we turn
that off? No, I turned it off. It's off now, but that is so fucked up. So I can't get rid of this thing. If anyone knows, write in. A little microphone pops up, and I can press wake up or sleep, and I just noticed it was on. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Chris, you want to cut that part out?
No, I didn't keep it.
Yeah, let's keep it. It's good entertainment. So anyway.
Yeah, man, someone write to me. I can't get this microphone. I shut off dictation. I go into settings. I go into voice. I go into dictation. I can't get rid of this goddamn thing. I guess I have to shut my computer off.
It's how I wrote my book. When I wrote my book, Dear Mrs. Fitzsimmons, I had a dictate program on my phone, and I used to walk around. There's a park across the street from my office, and I used to just walk around it for hours telling stories into my phone, and then I would plug it into my computer. It would download everything I said and write it out. And there was a lot of misspellings, but who gives a fuck? An ugly first draft is so much easier to work with than typing from scratch. It was great.
I had an email I was dreading. That's how I turned mine on. This email, I had to basically come up with a one sheet on an idea that required too much. Anyway, so I turned the dictate thing on, and it's the first time I've ever used it. I don't know why I haven't used it before. But anyway, sorry that it went into this document. Let's keep going.
How's your pitching going, by the way, for your sitcom?
No sales yet, but HBO is, of course, always a pleasure to pitch to, and Netflix as well, Hulu. It's going okay.
Okay.
But no sales, don't worry, no work. I'll write if there's work. Don't worry. You don't worry.
I'm not worried. I think it's going to sell. I think it's a great idea. Anyway, we can't talk about it.
Right.
Mike has a great sitcom idea, and I can't wait for the day when he sells it and we can fucking announce it on the show.
Oh, I didn't even know what you were talking about. There was another one, but all right, go ahead. I think you're talking about a different one, which hasn't really started yet.
All right.
Okay. back to the Nazis.
So this guy, an ex-FBI agent, said Arnold Vandenberg, a Jewish figure in Amsterdam, probably gave up the Franks to save his own family. The team, made up of historians and other experts, spent 6 years using modern, toilet paper. We're back. Using computer algorithms to search for connections between many different people, something that would have taken humans thousands of hours. Vandenberg had been a member of the Amsterdam Jewish Council, a body forced to implement Nazi policy in Jewish areas. It was disbanded in 1943, and its members were dispatched to concentration camps. So essentially, a bunch of Jewish people were enlisted by the Nazis to turn in other Jewish people, and when they were done, they were sent to the fucking camps.
Well, he apparently did it, right? Wasn't the thing that he
was not, though.
He used it to get his family excused.
Right. He got out, and so they found that one of the clues that it was him is that they found that he was instead living in Amsterdam as normal afterwards.
Right,
so, yeah.
Well, listen, let's face it, Amsterdam is the capital of selling young women.
Right.
The world capital of selling young women. So that's what he did. He was just way ahead of the curve. He saw what Amsterdam could be way before anyone else.
Yeah, that's what the father probably said that to Anne Frank, is like, you think it's bad being stuck in an attic? How about being stuck in a storefront window with a bed and a curtain?
All right. So I know this is not a popular thing to do, but a couple of facts. All right. Do you know that Anne Frank and the Franks, you keep saying attic. That's my impression also. They were in a 3-story apartment.
What do you mean?
They hid in a 3-story apartment.
Were they in an attic or were they in an apartment?
Okay, you ready? Because I did a little research. 3-story apartment, no, which had the top floor, I guess, is like an attic, but it was the bookcase hid a doorway, and the father's name was Otto, and I think this was part of like where he worked because his employees were hiding. You know, they were keeping them under the wraps and delivering the food and all that. 3-story. So first of all, 3-story apartment with food delivered, not so bad. No, I'm kidding, of course. But listen, okay. Here's another thing. You ready? Otto, do you know that Anne Frank's dad lived till 1980?
No shit. Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And he was remarried because his daughters and his wife died in the Holocaust. He went to Auschwitz. He lived. And then he got remarried. And I thought that was kind of funny because, listen, stepmoms are always tricky, right? Like but even the most patient stepmom would be like, listen, Otto, can we stop talking about your daughter for a little bit?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
right.
I get it. Anne's amazing. All right. But can we just, it's fine. I really view her as my own daughter kind of, but I don't even talk about my own daughter this much.
Right. And will you stop hanging out on the top floor so much? Come downstairs and hang out with me. You're obsessed with the attic.
Okay, 3-story apartment. And do you know she started a relationship with a boy, Anne
I heard
Frank?
that. Can you imagine trying to date Anne Frank? How difficult that would be?
Because she's
Like,
14?
Shh.
Oh.
What is it, your parents? No, the Nazis.
What, the Nazis? No, my parents. I think the other way around. So get this. I also, I'm going to read what I found. After the original publication, several sections of her diaries were, they were initially edited out and they've been revealed, and I guess there were new editions of her diary. But the passages contain descriptions of her sexuality, exploration of her genitalia, and her thoughts on menstruation.
Dear Diary, I think I'm getting my period. And by the way, Uncle Arnold sure asks a lot of questions about where we live. For a poor Jew living in the slums, he sure has a nice, shiny German watch.
And like most girls, this is how I believe, I have no doubt at all that this is Anne Frank's real diary. She complained about her mom a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Imagine how bad your relationship has to be with your mom when there are Nazis right outside your window looking to kill you, and still you're like, fucking mom, goddamn bitch.
Yeah, she's really, she gives me no freedom. She doesn't let me do anything.
Yeah. And Otto removed remarks about the parents' strained marriage and her descriptions of her difficult relationship with her mom.
Oh, so we got the edited version.
2 additional pages, and Anne had pasted them over with brown paper, were deciphered in 2018 and contained an attempt to explain sex education and also, get this, a handful of dirty jokes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like her even more now. But by the way, your parents' strained marriage. All marriages are strained. Now add Nazis looking and searching desperately to kill you.
Wow. All right. Here's a story about a University of Pennsylvania student, Mackenzie Fierston. She had her Rhodes Scholarship revoked and her master's degree withheld after allegations surfaced that she was lying about her first-generation low-income status and life in foster care.
Huh.
So I guess she graduated and she was one of 32 Rhodes Scholars chosen from more than 2,300 students. It's impossible to get a Rhodes Scholarship. Bill Clinton had one.
There's another young girl who was kind of fibbing about her reality.
A little bit. She was quoted as saying, statistics show that only 2% of foster youth graduate from 4-year universities, and most also do not even graduate from high school, Fierston told the Philadelphia Inquirer. The overwhelming majority of us do not want to graduate high school. It's just that because... do want to graduate high school. It's just that because of a million systemic factors and barriers and obstacles and systematic oppression that everyone faces, it's just very, very challenging. Here's the problem.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Here's the problem. An anonymous tip was then sent where it shows her Instagram photos of her whitewater rafting, riding horses, and skydiving.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, she grew up wealthy. She went to a fancy private school and was not an orphan. She was never in foster care.
The anonymous tip came from the same guy that ratted out Anne Frank.
It was Arnold. It was Arnold again.
He's on a tear, this guy.
It was Arnold's grandson, yeah.
He hates these hard scrabble stories that just don't ring true to him about these young girls.
Yeah, and you know what? Poor people also go whitewater rafting when they're cleaning their clothes by the river's edge and they fall in. Many times they go whitewater rafting.
Not with a raft, exactly.
And they ride horses, right?
They
don't have a car. They don't have a car.
Whitewatering, yeah.
She went to Whitfield in St. Louis, where our friend Chris Denman lives. So he's writing here, it is a comically nice private school. What does comically nice mean?
Probably extremely nice.
Yeah, I think he mistyped it with his 2 fat fingers. That wasn't nice. I'm sorry, Chris. You don't have fat fingers.
He just has stuttering fingers. Yes, he says, I'll get it. Yeah, because my stepmother, speaking of stepmothers, she went to Mary Institute, remembered it, in St. Louis. And it's basically a cult of rich white people. And St. Louis has a very bizarre culture of being incredibly competitive when it comes to which high school you went to.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that about St. Louis. What high school did you go to, Chris Denman? Write it into the document.
I think he went to Mary Institute also. It was like a Tom Hanks. He had to dress up like a woman to get in, and he also identifies as a woman.
I grew up an hour south in God, he types so fucking slow.
In Farmington.
Didn't participate in the mess. Okay, so he was poor.
Although this guy will rat out Chris, I'm sure there are photos of him stealing horses and.
Someday maybe Chris will rat out some of these QAnon people that he works with. Maybe Chris is actually under deep cover, and all the QAnon stuff that he's always wearing and all the conspiracy theories, maybe he's just trying to get inside, and then he's going to reveal these people one day.
I think that's a long, long con. I like it.
Okay. There's a guy. Here's a great story. Here's a heart warmer. More than 150,000 people have signed an online petition to remove a judge who berated a 17-year-old cancer patient last week. 72-year-old cancer patient last week for failing to maintain his property in Detroit. A breathless Burhan Chowdhury of Hamtramck, Michigan, told the judge during a appearance over Zoom that he was unable to keep his yard in good shape because his cancer treatments made him very weak. The judge then said, quote, "You should be ashamed of yourself. If I could give you jail time on this, I would." He issued him a $100 fine to be paid by February 1st, adding, "You've got to get that cleaned up. This is totally inappropriate."
Is this really a big problem in Detroit?
Right.
An untidy yard?
Yeah, I know. You want to get the blood stains are probably the priority here. The pieces of fucking shattered bone, and
yeah, you know what most of the garbage in my yard is? It's the burned down house next door fell into my yard.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll tell you something. I'm with the judge on this one. I mean, look, you got to take care of... If Walter White, who also had cancer, can run a meth lab and exterminate a gang of Mexican drug cartel, this guy can do a little weed whacking.
Maybe the judge is right because his whole yard is strewn with overgrown tobacco plants and uranium. Maybe he caused his own cancer. I think that's what the judge is looking at here.
Hey, maybe your daughter's in Michigan. Maybe she can get her sorority together and they can go clean up his yard. Wouldn't that be sweet?
I bet he'd love it. I bet he'd be breathless once again looking out the window.
Then they'd raid his liquor cabinet.
Rager right in the yard.
Did she join a sorority?
She did. I don't know a lot of the details. She
That's
wasn't
so
going
annoying.
to, and then, but it's a big part of the culture there. Yeah, I don't know. I can't defend it.
I think it's one of those schools where if you don't join a fraternity or sorority, like you can't even get into any parties.
I think there's a little of that. Although sororities, I don't think are allowed to have parties. Isn't that the national case?
Oh, really? That seems
think.
sexist.
I don't know. I mean, maybe not public ones. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I think they should outlaw all Greek life. It's a fucking joke.
A little bit. Yeah.
In the new segment you started last week, good news for Gibbons. The government is sending out free COVID tests, but you got to sign up fast. And apparently, Gibbons did it within the first hour to inch out that wave of black people that was going to try to get tests.
He then hacked the website so no one else could get them.
Yeah.
Have you signed up? Have you?
I did it right away.
When do they roll out? They said at the end of January?
I had already ordered some on Amazon like 3 weeks before, and they still haven't come. The ones I paid for are fucking slow. And so, I don't know.
Would our insurance reimburse us for those?
It was like $20 for 4 tests.
The question remains. Yeah, I don't know. No, they're more expensive. Really? When did you order them?
Like 3 weeks ago, and we still haven't gotten them.
I mean, the price might have gone up a little bit. Price on masks has gone up, but that makes sense to me as long as they're not like gouging. But short supply, of course it's going to go up.
Local news. You want to read us some local news?
Yeah, the LA County, there are felony charges in the first fatal crash involving a Tesla's autopilot. The defendant appears to be the first person to be charged with the felony in the United States for a fatal crash involving a motorist who was using a partially automated driving system. The driver of a Tesla on autopilot ran a red light, slammed into another car, and killed 2 people. This happened in Los Angeles. The misuse of autopilot, which can control steering, speed, and braking, has occurred on numerous occasions, and this is the subject of investigations by 2 federal agencies. The filing of charges in the California crash could serve notice to drivers who use systems such as autopilot that they cannot rely on them to control vehicles. What do you remember? We did that story in Texas. There was a fatal crash, but only the people in the Tesla died, and the 2 guys were in the back seat.
They were in the back seat. Yeah, right.
I think people are trusting this thing too much.
Yes and no. I mean, statistically, these cars will have way less accidents than human error. And there's going to be mistakes by the computer. And God, my heart goes out to the people that died. It's terrible. But if you crunch the numbers, these auto-driving cars do a better job than our drunken, distracted, texting, arguing, radio-changing human brains.
You know, when they're programmed, this is not my thought. I read this somewhere, but they, like, for instance, I think, like, what does this computer do when it sees you can run into a car? You can't brake fast enough, so you're going to hit either a car or a human. I think they're programmed. But then what if it's like a human adult or a human, like, child?
You think there's an algorithm for who becomes the victim if they have to choose?
I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I mean, they have to be programmed on stuff like this.
Do you think it's racially blind? It doesn't see color?
I don't know. That's another good question. I'm not sure. But I bet.
What do you think the algorithm should be? If it's a man, because the insurance companies will tell you that a male bread earner has more value in the world than a child. Like, if you kill a child in a DUI and you get sued, you owe less money than if you had killed an adult male breadwinner.
Well, very soon the cars will also have facial recognition, and it'll be like, this is an illegal alien, and let's take him out.
Right.
And not only that, it won't even be an accident. It will just speed up and run over undocumented people in this country.
We'll combine the police force with auto driving. They'll just take out criminals.
And
we're not saying that illegal aliens are criminals, and I don't even like that phrase, illegal aliens.
No, we're not saying that. You are.
Yeah.
It'll also.
I thought it was insensitive that the guy that was driving sent flowers to the funeral, but he sent them in one of those robotic delivery carts.
that took out another car.
Yeah.
What the AI will do, though, is they will absolutely avoid hitting Karens. Like, it'll identify the most litigious groups and not run them over.
Right.
But I bet there's interesting stuff written about that, because they do have to be programmed by a human, and I wonder how they are programmed. All right, entertainment. Hold on, I got to get the paper, man. It fucking fell on the floor. There. Okay. These are all your stories. You were busy this week.
I was busy. I put a lot of stories in, and you didn't like some of them, and that's fine. It's we overshoot and then we trim down.
You agreed. You suggested cutting some.
I suggested it. Yes.
Yeah. Not this one.
Cardi B has offered up to pay the burial costs for all 17 people killed in a fire in the Bronx where she grew up. Many of the victims had ties to Gambia, and families of several of the victims plan to bury them in their West African homelands. Cardi B has committed to paying the repatriation expenses for the victims. Quote,
wow.
I'm extremely proud to be from the Bronx, and I have lots of family and friends who live and work there still. So when I heard about the fire and all the victims, I knew I needed to do something to help, Cardi B said in a statement, followed up by, and I wanted to make sure that I gave a statement and made sure people knew I gave them money.
I wonder if there'll be any like print, like this funeral service is brought to you by Wet Ass Pussy. Just technically, that is what has paid for this. That song, Wet Ass Pussy.
Right.
A little insensitive that she added, if only there had been more wet ass pussy in those apartments, maybe the fire would not have spread so quickly.
Oh, shit. What if Cardi B had just showed up, pulled up her skirt, spread her legs, and taken that fire out with that whap?
Yeah, just start clapping that ass all over the apartment, hosing it down.
Dude, have you seen that video? It is so fantastic. It is fucking... It is what music videos were made to do.
It's like you gave the most imaginative, like, 12-year-old acid and said, sketch us out what you want to see.
Yeah, right. And by the way, she's paying for it, but she's doing it all in singles, which I thought was weird.
She's making it rain a little too late.
Yeah.
All right. Aquafina, do it.
Actress Awkwafina, who's been criticized for misappropriating black culture, is facing more backlash after being nominated for an NAACP Image Award. Twitter users immediately followed up with criticism on Tuesday after the Asian actress received a nomination for Outstanding Character Voiceover Performance in Disney's Raya and the Last Dragon.
I mean... All right, so I've never seen her live or anything, but obviously I'm aware of her. It seems like there's no more African American name than Aquafina.
Right.
Like if I went to a club,
get your ass inside here.
Oh, okay. I was not going to do the accent. But like, does it begin there, or people? I don't know the origin of the name Aquafina. I don't know why she chose it. I don't know if it's chosen or if it's hers. It was given to her. I have no idea.
I don't know why. If she's from Queens, she grew up in a diverse neighborhood, and I don't know. It's like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just inducted Jay-Z and LL Cool J. Isn't the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's really just the white awards? Shouldn't it just be for rock and roll? Does this tie in any way?
I don't know. We should mention, by the way, speaking of NAACP nominations, Chris, of all people, maybe the last guest.
Chris Denman,
our producer, nominated. So this is true. I then, when he texted us that to brag about it and to shock us, I said, that's amazing that they'll recognize you considering you're a card-carrying member of the NAAWP. Because my joke was that Chris is a member of the National Association for the Advancement of White People.
Yes.
Get this. That really exists.
No.
I then Googled it
God.
to see, and there is an NAAWP.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So
do white people need to be advanced? I think we've been advanced pretty well.
Did white people need a national association in America?
Yeah.
I don't think.
Right. Anna de Armas, two fans, filed a federal class action lawsuit on Friday alleging that they were duped into renting the 2019 film Yesterday because Anna de Armas appeared in the trailer. Connor Wolf, 38, and Peter Rosa of San Diego say they each paid $3.99 to rent the movie on Amazon Prime, only to discover that de Armas was removed from the final cut of the film. The suit accuses Universal of engaging in deceptive marketing and seeks to recoup at least $5 million on behalf of affected consumers. Yeah.
This is who Tesla should take out. Peter Michael Rosa and whoever the other one is, Connor Wolf. Oh my, this is ridiculous.
No, I love these guys.
Well, I'm going to sue the Bond film No Time to Die because Anna's in that and she sucked.
She did suck. She did suck in it.
Also, I just saw Power of the Dog, and I want $5 million because Jesse Plemons. Okay, I love Jesse Plemons. He plays the exact same character in almost. I'm not saying,
true.
I'm not saying he doesn't do it well. Get this one. In Power of the Dog, he's married to Kirsten Dunst, just like he was in Fargo.
Yeah.
And he basically plays the same husband.
And he is married to her in real life, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's.
$5 million, please.
Yeah, I'll take $5 million for that, and I'll take $5 million for Fast and the Furious: The Tokyo Drift.
Oh, you
because
froze.
I've never. Am I all right?
Yeah, now you are.
The Tokyo Drift, because I have never seen good Asian drivers, and so I can't. It was too much of a stretch.
That's a good one.
I'm also going to sue every individual member of the Eagles except Joe Walsh for their solo projects.
I like that. Might
there-
even sue the Eagles.
All right. Well, I don't know. I have a mixed feeling about the Eagles. I feel like they're like Chicago. You have to begrudgingly give them respect and say that their musicianship was actually very good. Their output was pretty high quality. They may be corny, but part of that, I think, is you being an East Coaster hating a West Coast band.
You think?
That's why Erin hates them. She hates Jackson Browne. She hates the Eagles.
Wow.
She doesn't like the West Coast bands.
She likes Linda Ronstadt, though, right?
I have to check with her on that.
This is all like, this is Geffen's list when he basically went down to, what's the place on Santa Monica and Doheny? Troubadour.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Geffen
right.
basically signed everybody and their friends.
Linda Ronstadt and Jackson Browne lived upstairs from each other. And she's like, she could hear him playing. And she's like, I've never seen anybody work as hard as Jackson Browne in my life. He was nonstop.
Wait, I thought that was Glenn Fry.
I think she was also very in with the Eagles at the time.
Yeah.
They might have all lived in the same building. Oh. But Joe Walsh, with the exception of Joe Walsh, who did some fucking great songs.
Joe
and
Walsh
has a
is
great
awesome.
life story. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's really great.
Why don't you read the Adele story?
Adele
I'm sick of
has
reading.
postponed her Las Vegas residency due to COVID-19 related production delays. The singer announced a day before her first show was set to kick off. Quote, "I'm sorry, but my show ain't ready," Adele said in a tearful video posted to Twitter Thursday. We've tried absolutely everything that we can do to put it together in time and for it to be good enough for you, but we've been absolutely destroyed by delivery delays and COVID. Half my crew are down with COVID. They still are, and it's been impossible to finish the show. She added, "I can't give you what I have right now," the Easy On Me singer added. She was gutted by the last-minute cancellation. Her Las Vegas residency, titled Weekends with Adele and announced in November, was set to kick off Friday at the Coliseum, So here's my thing. I saw the cancellation. But the night before,
Yeah.
like everyone flew in, and it's like, I don't know. Most people are there to see you sing with just a piano accompaniment. In fact, tens of millions of people watched you in a car singing karaoke. It doesn't take much.
Yeah, that's how she got big in this country. That put her at the next level.
Well, that album was so extraordinary. But so my thinking is, sorry, no jokes here, but my thinking is like, listen, you only are scheduled to do 2 shows a weekend. This first weekend, so many of people have flown in, probably some from other countries.
Oh, yeah, no, I saw the news. People flew in from all over the world for this.
And now they're sitting in the Cosmopolitan in Vegas, and you are canceling on them 20 hours before. It's like, just go out and do a Q&A.
Yeah.
Something.
Hug people. Just go out and hug everybody. First of all, she was guess what she was making a night? And don't look at the document or you'll read it.
Oh, no, I'm not looking at the document. I don't know. I don't know.
Guess how much per show she was making.
But I hate things like this because then I'll guess too high because I know it's going to be high. Go ahead, tell me.
$680,000 per night.
I was going to guess 500,000, and I was afraid it was going to be high.
And she's renting a $40,000 per night suite. The cheapest seat was like close to $1,000, and the most expensive ones were $40,000 per seat to sit in the front row. And it's like,
wow.
And she said, I don't understand how you allow your tickets to get sold for that. I think it was all resale. I believe the concert sold out. like right away, but then this is all the resale prices. And
Well,
like,
I told you about my physical therapist guy, right? Who I learned was quite into her. Anyway, it was a lottery to be eligible to buy a ticket
right,
on Ticketmaster,
for $1,000 a seat minimum.
which they did not announce before the lottery. So that's why, like, even if you didn't get the lottery, then you sort of went up the list pretty quickly because people were like, I can't do that.
Did you watch the video of her crying?
No, I didn't do that.
So there's just something about her I find very overproduced. Like she sets up her camera and then all of a sudden she's crying about it. It was so something's going on. I'd love to know the real reason why this happened.
I know. She is a diva. She's gotten to that, maybe she's earned it, but she has definitely become a diva, I believe.
I saw she did a special recently where she was outside in LA, up in the hills somewhere.
Yeah, no. So, all of Corden's producers produced that.
Oh, yeah, because Corden was there dancing with his wife, but it was like a who's who of Hollywood. Every major celebrity was there, and she got up and sang. And to be honest, I didn't think she was that good. And I love Adele. I fucking love her. But I felt like there was something about that show where she felt like maybe she was intimidated by the star power, because that's got to be distracting, having like all the biggest stars in Hollywood right in front of you and you're outside.
I didn't see it. I saw clips of it and everything. I know there was a marriage proposal. I work in TV, so I know how fake and how orchestrated and produced those are. There was like a woman blindfolded and brought out, and the guy proposed, which is very interesting because this is her divorce album. So it's a little weird.
Right.
But so what they did was around that marriage proposal, she sang what I think is her best song, which was written by a guy named Bob Dylan, which celebrates love and not describes divorce. Or bemoans divorce. So anyway, that's unbelievable. Like, people had paid for it. So imagine insurance on this, because insurance has to make this right.
Yep. All right, let's do some Florida Man.
$680,000 a night. Holy shit. Why do I keep putting down? Where's the paper? All right, everybody hold on. I found it. Okay. Florida Man. You ready for this? A positive Florida Man story.
Oh, I like it. Nice twist.
Florida, a rare one. Florida, the headline is Florida Students Super Bowl Petition nears 100,000 signatures, and it wants a Saturday game or a Monday holiday. Frank Ruggieri, 18, says the game should be switched to Saturday to allow young fans to stay up late and give other fans enough time to recover from the excitement. Other fans responding to the petition suggest attaching a Monday holiday afterward if the game were to remain on Sunday. It will get more money and get more visitors to the game. The NFL will get more television views because most government jobs have Sunday off, he said. It will let more children enjoy their beloved game on TV or at the venue. Most of the football playoff games are on Saturday anyway, he claims in the petition. It's really, really important to me because 17.2 million people miss work, he told Morning in America. Anyway, I didn't know that part about it. What else? He discussed buckling the longstanding tradition. Fox 59 of Indianapolis reported, what's this part? That's 44 billion less. Oh, I guess they attached a dollar value to the loss in productivity, which was 44 billion.
Well, I think the other thing that would be nice about it is, look, this kid lives in Florida, so the extra day off would give that black eye time to heal if dad lost his bets.
I know. Now the biggest day of wife beating will be moved to Saturday, where it belongs.
Yeah, right.
Not on the Lord's Day.
He also wants to switch the 4th of July to the 5th of July because on the 4th he's got a DUI hearing, and so he's getting a petition going on that.
I'm surprised most people in Florida even know what day of the week it is. I'm behind this kid. Do you remember when we lived on the East Coast, when the Super Bowl would end, it was like a full-on depressing moment. I mean, you had a unique job where like you worked on weekends. It would on the East Coast, it ended at like midnight, and you would be so depleted, and basically your hangover would start that night.
I remember the first night I ever did stand-up comedy was the night the Patriots lost to the Chicago Bears.
86.
Do you remember that trouncing in 86? I was on stage for the first fucking time in front of a bunch of Massachusetts fans who had just lost the Super Bowl.
I didn't know you started that early, by the way.
Well, I did it, and then I didn't do it again for a couple of years. It was it was like a one-off, and then I started again like a couple years later. So, yeah, if I could get through that, I could get through anything in stand-up.
Move it to Saturday. You know, people don't remember the Oscars used to be on every year for most of the Oscars till like I'd say 15 years ago. They were on Monday night.
Oh, no shit.
And it was very cool. People, old timers in LA really missed that because basically it was a holiday. Like everyone was running around like who worked in the business, and nothing really could get done because everyone was away from their desks. So it was like this special Oscar Monday. And
well, you know, in
Monday
Boston,
nights.
do you remember the Boston Marathon is a Monday every year, and they call it Patriots Day.
Yes.
And it's a holiday, and nobody works in Boston and it's the greatest fucking day. St. Patrick's Day in Boston is amazing, but Marathon Day trumps it by far. It is amazing. There's just people. Did you ever run the Boston Marathon?
I never ran the Boston with Heartbreak Hill. Never ran it.
Yeah, it's a tough one to run, and people just line up, and it goes through Southie, and it goes through the western part of Massachusetts. It goes all over. It's amazing.
You know who worked one of those Patriot days? Those two young bombers who bombed the marathon.
They should have taken the day off. They should have taken the day off.
There you go.
Let's do some international.
Yes, we will. All right.
All right, let's skip this one.
Okay.
And go down to this one. This one came from our friend Dan Brickner in Philadelphia. This is hot off the presses. A dead man was brought to a post office this morning in Ireland to collect his pension in one of the most bizarre incidents the Gardaí have ever seen. The shocking incident in which the deceased male was propped up by two other men happened at the post office in Carlton. Staff at the post office immediately became suspicious and contacted emergency services, and Gardaí rushed to the scene. No money was handed over, and it is understood that the deceased man is well known to the two men who moved his body. So it's Weekend at O'Bernie's.
Weekend at O'Bernie's. You know, I never saw Weekend at Bernie's. I should. Why not?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
But what was? Oh yeah, they knew this was a total scam because the drunk man was not shit-faced.
The dead man was not shit-faced.
The dead man. What did I say?
You said drunk man.
I can't even escape. There's no way to talk about this Irish guy collecting his pension without
if
having
this is
alcohol.
not a fucking screenplay, I mean, there was one, Waking Ned Devine. Do you remember that one?
I know that name.
And it was an Irish movie. It was set in Ireland, and there was a dead guy, and they were collecting his pension and pretending he was dead. So this sounds like a real thing in Ireland that people do.
I've been eating too much pot, and I've been watching a lot of things. Why wouldn't I throw on Weekend at Bernie's? I'm constantly stumped on what to watch.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, because I saw a bunch of stuff, including Louie's Hour when we get to entertainment.
Oh, yeah. I think
All
we
right,
already did
sports.
entertainment. We already did entertainment.
Did we?
Yeah, why don't you talk about Louie's special?
When did we do entertainment? Oh, up with Cardi B and stuff?
Yeah, we did all women. It was an all women entertainment section. We covered, and we didn't cover Ellen. We did Cardi B. We did Aquafina. We did Ana de Armas. We did Adele.
Right. I thought that was just a feminist section. I forgot, because you and I talked about it like 2 weeks ago, and we were going to like kind of rush to go watch it. And I forgot. So anyway, went on Louie's website, got the link, watched his hour. It's great. And I was like a lot of hours. I'm really enjoy it. I think it's great. And then, of course, like a lot of people, I can't recount a lot of the bits, but it was just so edgy and absurd and just perfectly Louie in that way. Like where he'll take a concept and kind of go to crazy town. Yeah. And think of it in ways you never ever thought about. And so I really, really liked it. It was great.
I saw him when I was in New York a few weeks ago, and we went to the dog park and walked his dog for like 3 hours. And I said to him, so how's the special doing? And it had just been out for a week, and he's like, we made $1.6 million in the first week. But you have to understand something. Louie spends money like a fucking lunatic.
Yeah,
and
he does.
He spent a lot of money shooting it. And then I don't know if you noticed the opening song.
Okay, that bothered me. How do you know about that?
He told me it's the opening song is like a Rolling Stone, and he paid $100,000 to play that song.
Okay, did he tell you why he wanted that song?
He liked the lyrics of "Once upon a time you dressed so fine, you threw the bums a dime in your prime, didn't you?" He liked that it was relevant to his situation in life.
It's not. And that's what bothers me. Listen, I love Louie. This is the one thing that, and I remember now vividly, it rubbed me the wrong way. He not only opened it, but he closed with it. And then he mouthed the words when he was walking off stage. How does it feel? So listen, allow me to step on a soapbox for 1 second. That song is generally considered to be written about the hugest guy ever in folk music, and at that time he was the darling, the hero, and he turned on them, and he went in a new direction that he knew he would lose so many of his fans. And if Louie is thinking he is in any way on that artistic level, he's fucked in the head, because all Louie's doing is desperately returning to his fan base. He's not at all doing material that would lose fans or pursuing an artistic endeavor that would lose his like sacred following, which is what Bob Dylan did. There's not nearly the artistic courage that if he's comparing himself or putting himself on that level, then Louie's got to check himself big time. It's offensive.
I mean, look, there's a lot of ways to interpret a song. One is just this is a person who's been humbled, and this is a point in his life that he is coming back from, and I don't know. I think that's a harsh take on it.
I don't know. How does it feel to be on your own? He's talking about see ya. And for you guys to resent me because I no longer like doing the stuff you guys like. That's all. That was Bob Dylan's thing.
Yeah.
He had already, and then by the way, after that, he goes into country music and leaves and goes to the top of the charts in country. I mean, it was just a true artist. And I think Louie's a true artist also. Don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about like a game-changing artist, one that like cannibalized everyone in his life for his art, like Picasso did, and just stole ruthlessly and made new art out of it, and then kept moving forward and famously didn't look back.
Louie is an artist. I mean, you can argue about what level he's at, but I mean, what did he do with Woody Allen? I mean, he took Woody Allen and he was inspired by his. Certainly by the music and the cinematography and the writing. I mean, he certainly cannibalized Woody Allen to some degree. He's cannibalized a lot of French filmmakers. Louis fucking brilliant.
No.
He's-
Louie is a great artist and he's brilliant. I'm not doing any of that. What I'm just saying is to compare it to such like a game-changing artist, just to play that song. Listen, obviously it's a sensitive point for me because I really perked up. Like, what's the message here? And that he went through, paid $100,000 for it, but that he mouthed those words too. Like, how does it feel? Seems very, that's when Dylan was literally screaming that, as you can see in the Scorsese documentary, when he's screaming that, he is talking to his like those fans that were booing him.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
All right. Well,
but great hour.
great
Getting
hour.
back
I
to
can't wait.
that.
I can't believe I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna maybe I'll watch it right after this. All right, let's do some sports, Mike. I know you don't want to.
You're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up. I know. All right,
Yeah.
here's sports. Also, wait, hold on. Before we go to sports, just a brief mention. Dude, I've been listening to Traffic this week. I went down
Yeah.
a traffic wormhole.
You do as you do often.
Not with Traffic.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, I love Traffic, and they're not new to me at all, but I mean...
Oh,
all
I'm
right,
thinking of Faces. You got like this
Oh,
with
no, the Faces. I love Faces, one of my favorite bands. The Five Guys Walk Into a Bar is one of the great, and Ben Hoffman turned me on to that, one of the great box sets of all time. So this is what I would say. I mean, just go listen to Dear Mr. Fantasy and stuff, and like,
Oh, yeah.
and
Dude,
the low
Steve
spark of High
Winwood-
Heeled Boys,
Steve
feeling
Winwood
all
was
right.
15 years old when he did that song. 15 years old. And that song has gravity. It has... How did he possibly reach those emotional points at that age?
I think he was maybe even younger when he was first found. I know, yeah. I mean, it's really, really, and Dave Mason writing, feeling all right. But anyway, how about this, listeners? I mean, it's like just an incredibly blissful moment when you disappear into that musicianship. What else is, I mean, like Krongman, I felt the same way. I was just like, when I put it on, I can like really just feel and have a great moment. What else is out there that's like that now, I guess? Because I'd like to be turned on to it for sure. I don't want to seem like the old guy who's just stuck, like nothing's been good since then. A shitload has been good since then, but like, I mean, those moments, it just feels like it was life or death for the musicians involved. Like that was their everything.
I would say I'd put Smashing Pumpkins in there.
Oh, yeah. No, but I'm talking
Melancholy
about
and
like
the
last
Infinite
10
Sadness.
years.
The last 10 years?
And I know
Shannon and the Clams. Listen to some Shannon and the Clams.
surprising title for this category. All right. I mean, listen, I know Kendrick Lamar is writing it like it's life or death also. So, it's out there. I just need to be turned on to it.
For sports, you
Oh,
motherfucker
my
had
God.
a bad week. Bad week. We had a bet that
Jesus.
Djokovic would, whether or not Djokovic would be allowed to play in the Australian Open. I said he'd be deported. You said money would hold sway and they would end up keeping him. He was deported. He did not play
I
the
should have
Australian
gotten
Open.
odds on that because he had already been rejected, but I thought it would be overturned again.
So you lost $30 there, and then you lost another 50 when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fucking killed Philly. It was 7.5 point spread. I think they won by 20 something.
The only good part of that is how bad they beat Philly. I hate Philly.
Yeah.
But, oh my God.
So you're down $110 for the year as we go into a huge game tomorrow as the Rams play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's the game I've been waiting for all fucking season. Not that I knew it was going to happen, but like these are my teams. These are my two teams.
Right.
And I really, I won't mind losing $50 to you this week if the Rams win.
Oh wow, that's nice of you. That's magnanimous. Fantastic.
And I think the Rams will squeak it out, but they're giving right now it's 2.5 points.
There's something about me, even though I was a Rams season ticket holder for like 2 years, I just like when LA, cries. I like when the
Really?
Dodgers lose. Yeah, there's something I like when everyone out here in their stupid bubble doesn't get their way.
Aw.
That's why I can't wait for this earthquake. I mean, literally cannot wait. I pray by my bedside that I'm Italian in a giant earthquake in LA.
What a life you live. You want the stock market to crash because you bought a fund that makes money when the stock market goes down. You want there to
man.
be an earthquake.
Is that up, by the way? I bought it. Listen, I bought it and it fucking went down. Of course, like all my investments. But TZA now, so I bought it in the high 20s. It then went, when it totally, the market should have been tanking already. It went down to the low 20s and now it's at 38. So get in, TZA. It's a thrill ride because it's triple weighted.
So
Anyway.
if you want to sell the market short, buy TZA. Is that the idea?
If you want, yeah, but the problem is if the market goes down $1, you go up 3. Conversely, if the market goes up $1, you go down 3.
Yeah.
It's a real hedge.
right.
But anyway, it's at 38.40 now. I think the market's going to go up on Monday. But by the way, this S&P, did we get to we didn't get to business. We'll talk about it later.
All right, we'll talk about it
All
later.
these
Let's talk
fucking
about China.
crybabies.
China.
China brings back anal swab testing for COVID in the world's most brutal lockdown 2 weeks before the Winter Olympics begin. The communist regime claims the virus test, which involves inserting a 5-centimeter long saline-soaked swab up a patient's bum. Where did I get this article? And rotating it is more accurate than other on-the-spot virus tests. However, the prospect of foreign visitors being swabbed up the bum has sparked controversy. Japan is calling on China to stop using the, quote, undignified test, as some passengers said it caused them, quote, psychological distress. And I put the picture in here. Did you see the picture? It's the directions. Is that how you would have self-administered the swab up your bum?
1 foot up on the toilet, 1 on the ground.
And reaching behind you?
No, I think I would have bent over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you wipe from the back or the front?
Come on, the back.
I don't.
You don't wipe from the front.
I do both.
You what?
Yeah.
What?
Sadly, sometimes it's more of a spackling job, but yes. Yeah.
Wait
and
a minute.
I'm not alone.
I've known you for 30 years, and I didn't know that you wiped from the front.
I'd say the first wipes are from the front. Yeah.
Whoa.
We don't have to get into crazy detail. But usually it's like, it's not, unlike you, it's not a mess. It's not a disaster under there.
Yeah, but don't you bump into your ball sack on the way? You must have the shittiest smelling balls in California.
No, I don't go near them. I stop at the butthole.
But the anus is designed. There's a slide in the back. There's a groove that you can move past. It opens up for you.
You fill that crack with your feces every time you wipe.
I use a bidet at this point, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
You're still rocking that bidet?
Yep.
Oh, your bathroom is just absolutely strewn with fecal matter.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Real papers.
Yeah, real papers will solve all this.
They work from the front or back, people. Anyway, you see, but how come with this one you're going from the front?
With which one? Oh.
The swab.
I didn't say I was going from the front. I said I was bending over. I'm going to bend over, and I'm still going to go from behind.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. You're pretty flexible.
Yep.
I think this is China's new policy, by the way. They might as well just say, don't come here. That's how a country does it. They're
right.
like, okay, all you guys are going to come here for the Olympics. Okay, new national policy. Everyone has to stick something up their ass. I see. A lot of flights have been canceled. Okay.
Let's skip that and
I like
go
Japan.
to...
Japan's already been tortured by
business.
China.
You wanted
and
to talk
vice
about
versa,
business.
so.
Let's do it.
Here we go, folks. Okay, so as we talked about, the markets are down, Bitcoin's down. And it just drives me crazy. So everyone's complaining like, oh my God, the S&P, holy, like, oh my God, it's over. The bubble's over. Should we buy this? Because then if it goes up a little, we'll be able to like save all our losses. For the year, I mean 365 days, the S&P right now on this weekend is still up over 14%.
Yeah.
How are you fucking complaining?
Yeah.
5 years, the S&P is up 92%. In 3 years, it's up over 60% still right now with this dip. It's ridiculous. You're still playing with all of the casino's money, you pussies.
I'll tell you what, Bitcoin being down, I mean, if you have the stomach for it, riding Bitcoin could make you so much fucking money. It's so predictable. It's got a floor around 30, 35, and it's got a peak around 60. And if you just keep riding it up to 60, selling it, buying it again when it hits 30, selling it at 60, you would have made money 3 times this year if you had followed that pattern.
I know, but each time it's not as easy to see while it's happening. Like there's new information. So this time, and listen, spare us all the Bitcoin freaks and geeks. Don't write in. We don't really care. But I know one headline is cryptocurrency's never been tested by inflation. And so when inflation happens, they're wondering if this crypto dream falls apart.
But no, I think it's just the opposite. I think it's a hedge for inflation. You put it into Bitcoin, and you don't lose your money in cash.
Except this. Let's say you're someone who's done really well because it's the market's up 92% still over 5 years. Interest rates go, let's say they went to 4%, maybe even 5%. You are absolutely set for life with a guaranteed 5% return.
Right.
You're set for life.
Yeah, but
if
inflation.
If you're one of these rich guys who's just absolutely crushed it up over 90% since 2017, then 5%, you're done.
But you're forgetting that the cost of living is going up 7% as you're making 5%.
I know, but still, the guaranteed 5%.
I know, but it's relative. It's relative.
You know, Buffett a few years ago. Keep in mind. This is a few years ago when everything's going gangbusters. Buffett was told at some point, like someone had said, like, well, you know, if interest or something went to like 2.5% or whatever, and he goes, show me a guaranteed 2.5%, and I will put every one of my dollars there.
Really?
I think that's what he said.
Wow.
It might have been higher than 2.5, but it was surprisingly low. Is my point.
All right, let's do some letters to the editor.
Okay, if we have to. Oh, new section.
Just one today that I want to read from Kalen. Colin or Kalen. Take this to heart. It might save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're absolutely right about index funds. I said a long time ago that I should have not had a broker this whole time and just put my money into index funds. And like you said, I would be up 90%.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm up maybe 25. That's the way to go. And the small investing fees, 1 to 2%, compound over 40 to 50 years, can eat up half of your portfolio. Seriously, it's math. So I looked it up, and it really is. It's insane how this 1% compounds. So
that is kind of crazy.
Tell Mike he's a fool trying to purchase individual stocks and time the market. And I've got the data to prove it. Over the long term, about 90% of the pros fail to beat indexing. So what shot do you think amateurs have?
They fail to beat indexing once you factor in their fees, especially. No, and you don't have to tell me anything. I know I'm a loser. I will say this, by the way, just on your inflation thing. If you already have your big house, because you're one of these rich guys who did the over 90% and all that, and you already have your house and you already have your car, insurance can't compete with putting a guaranteed 4 or 5%, like a return on your income, because you've already gotten your big ticket items. Sure, zucchini cost a little more. You'll handle it.
Right.
It's
time for obituaries. I was not looking forward to this part of the show.
I hate this week.
And that's all, folks.
Louie Anderson was a comedian and actor who starred in Baskets and created the cartoon series Life with Louie. Died in Las Vegas of large B-cell lymphoma at the age of 68. Got his start as a comedian in the early 80s, winning first place at the Midwest Comedy Competition in 81. Became known for his stand-up, appearing on The Tonight Show and stand-up specials before becoming an actor and TV host. He was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Coming to America, The New Hollywood Squares, and then this Saturday morning cartoon, Life with Louie, which was actually really cute.
I never saw it.
Based on his St. Paul, Minnesota childhood. He won 2 Emmys for his performance. He starred in the short-lived 1996 sitcom The Louie Show and hosted a Family Feud reboot in 1999. He then spent a lot of time in Vegas and shot specials there. And then he began starring in FX series Baskets, playing Christine Baskets, mother of Zach Galifianakis' twin brother character. He won a 3rd Emmy for his performance on Baskets, as well as a Critics' Choice Award. He continued recording comedy specials, including his most recent Louie Anderson Big Underwear. His TV guest appearances included Scrubs, Drunk History, Young Sheldon. He was on Search Party and 20s, as well as being a regular panelist on the game show Funny You Should Ask.
His scene in Search Party in the courtroom, that went viral this week. That was really funny. He... Listen, you knew him. I did not know him. I mean, I've had conversations with him, but in no way can I say I knew him. But I never, ever met someone who had something bad to say about this guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he was extremely well liked. He was a sweetheart. And he was one of those people that really enjoyed making you laugh. And being, he had that Midwestern charm, like Andy Richter's got it. Certain people from the Midwest, they just have this. Matt Malloy's got it. It's like
niceness.
Just niceness. And
yes.
He was a guy when my first TV appearance in my life was on his show. He booked me on. It was called Louie Anderson's Comedy Showcase on NBC, and it was a big deal. And I went out, and before the show, he talked to me and he gave me a pep talk, and I went up and I had a good set, and then he shook my hand. And then afterwards, we went out to dinner with a couple of the other comedians, and it was just very sweet. And then he came on my podcast a few years ago and remembered me and was very sweet. And so I'm reposting that podcast. It's up now if you want to hear it. It was actually a really good conversation.
I saw a post where I think it was maybe one of his first Carson appearances. And, they're clapping at the top of the... He's like, all right, well, I don't have much time because I'm between meals.
He's one of the most underrated stand-ups of all time. I have never heard... I listen to Sirius XM, comedy clips.
Yeah.
Never disappointed. Every single bit he does is well-crafted. It's tight. It's funny. It's silly. It's in his voice. He was amazing.
It's deceiving because you're hearing this nice Midwestern delivery, and it's sneaky in its austerity. You know what it is really every word counts, and he has honed it down to the most efficient, humor delivery, that one can. And it's very disciplined. And that's it. It doesn't seem look at him. He doesn't seem or present like this disciplined, person who's just, really pouring their blood out onto the page. But boy, is he.
Yeah. Yeah. Also this week we lost Meatloaf. Known for his top-selling album Bad Outta Hell and for songs including Paradise by the Dashboard Light, I'd Do Anything for Love, but I won't do that. What is that? What was I Won't Do That?
Well, listen, it's very similar. So I do anything for love, but I won't do that. Right. It's a song about anal. I know where you're going. But I that's very similar to 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad, which is hysterical.
Yeah, it's great.
I want you, I need you, but there ain't no way I'm ever going to love you. So don't feel bad. Don't feel sad because 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they must have been dying laughing when they wrote that song.
Yeah. It's like that Bruce Springsteen lyric, you ain't a beauty, but hey, you're all right.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And doesn't Van Halen have you're semi-good looking? Anyway, I heard an amazing description this week that Bat Out of Hell, which is like the 5th largest selling album of all time.
Oh, right.
Higher than any Springsteen album, by the way. They said it was as if, this is a great description of Meatloaf and Bat Out of Hell. It's as if Andrew Lloyd Webber produced Springsteen.
Interesting.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it is very flamboyant and not in a gay way, but like it's very theatrical is the better word.
Well, the lyrics are epic. They're it's a saga. The songs are like opera. You know, it
is an
deep.
operatic version. Yeah.
He also was in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh yeah.
Which was great, and but he sold more than 40 million copies of the album. Wow.
Yep. No, Todd Rundgren produced it. You know, there's a really interesting clip. Did you see it where Rundgren goes, you know, everyone talks about Springsteen, but quite honestly, in this song, we were trying to do the Eagles, and he is at a soundboard, and he isolates the tracks, and it's very Eagles. I'll send that to you. You should check that out. Like it was really interesting. I never ever thought about the Eagles when I listened to Meatloaf. So listen, I love this guy. I'm proud to say, unironically, I thought I loved it for what it was. The guy I thought had an incredibly strong voice. Sorelli, our good friend John Sorelli, took me to see him in Madison Square Garden.
No kidding.
We had backstage tickets. I was working for HBO, but very frustrated because I wanted to be a writer and not just in promos. And all of a sudden I found myself in line, and then our laminates, all of a sudden he was signing our laminate. And he looked at me, he's like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Mike." He's like, "Mike, what do you want me to write?" And I was like, "Just write wake up." And he laughed. He's like, "What?" He goes, "All right." He goes, "Wake up, Mike." He's like, "What do you have to wake up from?" I'm like, I'm just not trying. You know, I'm just not doing my thing. And he's like, "Then you need to wake up." Like, it was really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you still have it?
I bet I don't know. I bet I do somewhere.
Dude, you got to find that and post it on Instagram. That would be amazing.
All right. God, I don't even know where I've moved so many times because I did wake up. And now I'm asleep again. But I woke up for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man, that 2 out of 3 ain't bad. It is. And it's. Then I saw him at the Hollywood Bowl, and it was a 17,000 person sing along.
Wow.
It was incredible.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, how do we cheer up after the obituaries, Mike?
I mean, are we going to do the funnies?
Let's do the funnies.
All right. I was going to say drugs, but all right.
Lockhorns, leading off with the Lockhorns. Leroy, they're at a party. There's another couple dancing, and then Leroy is dancing with Loretta, but he's got his arm in the air and his leg in the air, and his eyes are closed like he's drunkenly dancing like a fool. And Loretta says Leroy learned all his moves by watching an air dancer in front of a car dealership.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. I love it. Leroy's sitting in his chair, and Loretta's standing there with her mother, and they're both scowling. And he goes, "Is this nagging being monitored for quality assurance purposes?" All right.
That brings us.
I am going to do Family Circus for you this week, Mike. We talked about it.
And I'm going to do Blondie.
All right. So now the 4 kids, Billy and someone and someone and someone,
I doubt
are all
okay.
They're
just
looking
little
at
shits,
and they're looking at the clock. and they're all clapping and they're cheering, and then they turn around and they go and they say to the mother, who as always looks nonplussed, they say, "The big hand caught the little hand."
Well, all right.
So this was him. This was Jeff Keane. He's sitting at his desk, and he's got a tea time at 10:10. And all he's thinking about is how that big hand is getting closer to the little hand, and he's going to not have enough time to putt, to stretch, to have a cup of coffee at the country club with his friends, to tell a couple racist jokes. And so he's thinking about the concept of one hand reaching the other because of his 10:10 tea time.
I've never used nonplussed in my critique of Family Circus, so I like that. That's,
Yeah.
a word I've sworn off because no one knows what it means, including me most of the time. But all right. Yeah, so you're not a fan, it seems.
I'm not a fan of the fact that, when you can deconstruct how he wrote it, when you can say that he was literally staring at the clock because he was so miserable that he had to write another one of these shitty strips, and that's where he got his inspiration. It's like he was looking at a bottle of Jack Daniels, which he was about to pour from, and he wrote a comic strip about it.
All right, here we go. Blondie, you ready?
Yep.
Dagwood walks into the kitchen, and he goes, "I'd like to make one more point in my defense." And she smugly goes, "Of course, dear." This stuck-up bitch does not appreciate Dagwood. He works all day.
I see what you're
She's
doing.
a kept woman. I think her boobs are fake. She's wearing this green sweater. She's cheesy. She's tacky. Also, he should totally rip her a new one for dressing that way. She doesn't have to dress that way. She should be more modest in her presentation. She makes him jealous on purpose, I think. She cucks him constantly. So he walks in and she goes, "But the longer it takes to make your point, the longer it will take me to put dinner on the table." Again, she's just so nasty to him. And she's just reminding him, all I do is cook for you. He can't say anything. He's already been attacked. He has to say one more thing in his defense, and she knows how to put him in his place because all she does is harangue him, and he just gives up. And he's like, "Case dismissed." And then he walks to his chair as she just has the run of the household. She's taken care of by him. He's not appreciated. And that's how that goes.
For a single guy, you sure are a fucking soft, cucky beta male. The fact that you relate to Dagwood and take his case speaks volumes of your relationships with women and how you can't stand up for yourself.
She's not. What do you mean? I'm attacking her. She's not grateful. She doesn't realize how easy he's made her life. It's great. And there she is, figuratively making soup. Look at her, which is basically, I know what that's a metaphor. She's playing with herself. She doesn't give anything to Dagwood. That's why Dagwood's given up.
Yeah, she's making soup. She has a fucking catering company, a successful catering company, which she could support herself on as soon as she leaves this piece of shit. She's gonna have so much more time to devote to the catering company.
Oh my God, she'll be lost without him. He's the anchor of this situation.
The anchor. He fucking sleeps on the couch and jerks off at work.
Her. He's the MVP of the relationship, easily.
He doesn't even give her good dick.
Oh my God, and look at him. He doesn't look like a fool at all. He has a nice sweater with the collar outside.
I'm going to buy you that sweater and make you fucking wear it. A fucking violet. It's got little details on it.
Great. I'll buy Erin that outfit she's wearing, and you'll see how well that goes. It'll be incredibly disruptive to the whole neighborhood.
All right, listen, we did it. We got through a Sunday Papers, and we'll be coming to you from Pittsburgh, PA next weekend.
Ooh.
And Mike, will you be in Santa Monica?
Next week, I think so. Let me see the schedule, but I am going to Florida in February, I think.
All right.
Yeah, we're paying a little more attention to Dad down there.
Don't forget to also get involved with expressvpn.com/papers to get yourself a discount there. And then also you want to get involved with Real Paper, hbo.com/papers to get 30% off your first order.
White from the
And
front or back.
we want to thank our good friends at Midcoast Media doing a great job. Chris Denman, congrats on his NAACP award. We'll talk. I think we're going to talk to him on the air next week about it.
Yeah. Now, did he get nominated for his work that he does with us on for the NAACP?
And
Or that might be the
then,
WP.
Beth Hoops and Key are also making
Yeah.
it all happen every week.
Absolutely. All righty, man. When are you back in town?
I'm back tomorrow watching the Rams game. And
That's an early one. What time are you back here?
Well, I tape them. I can't watch football in real time. I need to fast forward. So I get in around 12:30. I'll start watching the game around 1:30.
Oh, is your in an ideal situation? Do you catch up live in the fourth quarter?
That would be ideal. And with 5 minutes left to go, that's about when I want to catch up.
Yeah, it's hard though. A lot of spoilers out there.
Yeah, I don't look at anything. I don't
Oh,
look. I
wow.
don't look at my phone while I'm watching.
Oh, interesting. Well, before you watch, even.
Go Rams!
I guess. So. All right, I'd take that. I'll take your $50.
Yeah, I'll give you the $50 if they win.
Oh, that's nice of you. Don't you do that anyway?
All right, we'll catch you guys next week.
I heard last week you didn't tell our devoted listeners to take it easy.
Oh no, really?
Yes, I read comments.
Oh shit!
So why don't you lead it off this week?
Take it easy.
There it is. Take it easy.
Battle of Greg, Battle of Mike. Every kind of battle you're in the mood for tonight. They'll take you any place you can pay for. Here at Sunday Papers. Scream and shout and read all about it.